Hello and welcome. I'm Jarvis, and in this lesson, we're going to tackle two fundamental concepts for building clean, organized, and scalable SQL Server databases: schemas and naming conventions. Let's get started. By the end of this 15-minute session, you'll be able to understand and use schemas to organize your database, apply best practices for naming your tables and columns, and truly appreciate why consistency is your best friend in database design. So, what exactly is a schema? The simplest way to think about it is like a folder or a container inside your database. Just as you use folders on your computer to group related files, you use schemas in SQL Server to group related database objects like tables, views, and stored procedures. When you start creating tables without specifying a schema, they automatically go into a default one called DBO, which stands for Database Owner. You've seen it every time you write dbo.tablename. While DBO is fine for very small projects, relying on it for everything is like throwing all your computer files onto the desktop. It gets messy fast. Using schemas brings three major benefits. First, organization. You can group objects by business function, like sales, HR, or production. Second, security. You can grant a user permission to access everything in the sales schema without giving them access to the sensitive HR schema. Finally, it avoids naming collisions. You could have a sales.customers table and a marketing.customers table in the same database without any conflict. All right, let's put this into practice. I'm going to switch over to SQL Server Management Studio. We'll create a new schema called Sales in our bookstore database and then move our existing books table into it. Follow along. Creating a schema is incredibly simple. The command is just create schema followed by the name you want to give it. Here, we'll execute create schema sales. Let's run this in our bookstore database. Now, to move our existing books table from the DBO schema to our new sales schema, we use the alter schema command. The syntax is alter schema, followed by the target schema name, then transfer, and finally the object you want to move, specified by its current schema and name. So it's alter schema, sales, transfer, dbo.books. After running this, the table will be known as sales.books. Now that the table has moved, if we try to select from dbo.books, we'll get an error saying it's an invalid object name. We must now refer to it by its full two-part name, sales.books. Our query becomes select star from sales.books. This explicitness is key to avoiding ambiguity in a large database. Great! We've seen how schemas provide organizational structure. Now let's talk about what we put inside those schemas. The names you give to your tables, columns, and other objects are critically important for the long-term health and readability of your database. A good naming convention is a roadmap for anyone using your database, including your future self. Here are some widely accepted best practices. First, be descriptive but not excessively long. Customer first name is much better than FN. Use a consistent case style, like PascalCase for object names and camelCase or PascalCase for columns. Avoid spaces. Use an underscore or casing instead. Use singular nouns for tables. A table represents a single entity, like customer, not customers. Finally, avoid using SQL reserved keywords like user or order as object names. Let's formalize a convention for our bookstore project. We'll use PascalCase for all object names like tables and schemas. So, sales, books, authors. For columns, we'll also use PascalCase, such as book ID, first name, publication year. For primary keys, we'll use the convention of table name followed by ID, and for foreign keys, referenced table name followed by ID. This consistency makes relationships obvious just by looking at the schema. Without schemas, you'd have hundreds of tables in one giant list. With schemas, it's cleanly organized. The production schema contains tables like work order and product inventory. The human resources schema has employee and job candidate. And the sales schema manages customer and sales order header. This logical separation is essential for managing complexity. The most common pitfall by far is inconsistency. One developer uses cust ID, another uses customer ID, and a third uses customer identifier. This creates confusion and slows down development. The solution is simple but requires discipline. Establish your naming convention at the very beginning of a project. Write it down and make sure the whole team follows it. Consistency is more important than picking the perfect convention. Let's recap what we've learned. Schemas are like folders that group related database objects for organization and security. You should move beyond the default DBO schema in any serious project. And a consistent, well-defined naming convention is not optional. It's a professional requirement for creating maintainable and understandable databases. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next lesson.